Hello there. Welcome to Creepy Stories by Candlelight. I am your dastardly dashing storyteller, and I have scoured the earth between the dimensions and even the digital landscape for tales of the unusual, the strange, and the terrifying. So, grab yourself a snack, perhaps even a tasty beverage, and let me tell you a story. Demon Face Girl by BloodySpaghetti. People always ask me about my gait. Whenever someone asks why I limp, I come up with some story about breaking my leg. Sometimes the stories are mundane. Other times, they are straight up crazy inventions of mine that I don't even expect people to believe. I once told someone I had a friend run over my leg with his truck to get my hands on a supply of painkillers. I know, that's not how it works, but that lady, believed me. The real reason behind why I'm limping now is definitely a strange one. It's a really strange story that I haven't really shared with anyone for years because I'm not even entirely sure that I remember correctly. Now, when I was younger, I used to drink a lot. By a lot, I mean I used to get pissed drunk and pass out wherever and whenever. I had little regard for my health or image, so I spent my free time drinking myself away. On one such occasion, I found myself barely able to stand upright with an empty bottle of Jack in hand. Somehow, I had gotten myself into this run-down little cabin outside of town. It was late, and I was completely drunk out of my mind, and there was no one out there that I could see. So I assumed it was an abandoned building. So I just let myself pass out on a pile of cardboard. I was out like a light. But just before sunrise, I woke up because I felt something watching me. I was still half asleep and probably still drunk. But I saw a girl sitting right beside me. She was staring at me. Her bright blue eyes were tearing through the darkness of the night, and beyond that piercing stare, she seemed pretty normal. My mind didn't have the time to digest just what was happening before I saw the lower part of her face. Exposed jaw muscles and large, bloody teeth greeted me as if the skin of the lower part of her face had been removed. My heart rate immediately rose, and I could feel ants crawling all over my skin. The adrenaline rush cleared out the alcohol in my system. Everything became painfully clear. I didn't know what to do. Heck, I wanted to piss my pants, to be perfectly blunt. A whirlwind spun inside of my mind with dreadful thoughts and unimaginable horrors plaguing my brain in those few awful moments. Then I realized that she didn't seem to notice that I had woken up. She just kept staring at the wall. Seeing her lack of attention, I decided it must have been an alcohol-induced nightmare. Maybe it was my body telling me that it was time to give up the bottle. I closed my eyes and tried to fall asleep again. Sleep wouldn't come for a while as the mental monsters of fear kept on running circles inside of my brain, and the adrenaline in my system kept me tense and vigilant. But eventually, my body finally collapsed under its own pressure, and I passed out again. Waking up in the morning, I realized I was once again alone. There was no strange monster mouth girl anywhere to be seen. In fact, there was nobody. It was just the hangover and me. In fact, at the moment, it felt like someone had stuffed sand down my throat. Coughing as I got up, I realized that there was a thick layer of dust everywhere. I cleared out my throat as best that I could and walked around aimlessly, trying to adjust to the pounding demon drums inside of my skull. I stumbled around until I came across a tiny room filled with a sea of these air freshener things, like the kind that you would hang in cars. The ones that look like tiny trees. There must have been hundreds, if not thousands of them. That sight piqued my curiosity, and so I swayed my body into that tiny little room. In that room, there was only a bed, and on that bed was a person. For the lack of a better term, they were dreadfully pale and deathly thin. The sight of their skin painfully pulled against their visible skeleton made my stomach twist into a knot and the hair on the back of my neck stand. There was countless pressure ulcers decorating their ghastly skin, and with each passing moment, I felt myself breathing heavier. Goosebumps ran across my skin over and over again, like an icy breeze caressing my arms and neck. I was trembling. The fear almost made me forget my headache and replaced it with palpable heartburn. The body suddenly moved. It bolted upright, unexpectedly. That memory is burned into my psyche. It let out this awful, ear-piercing, shrill cry. I thought I might die. My body seized up and everything spun around for about half a second. I felt myself losing balance, and then everything faded away. Everything but the feeling of a burning ache in the back of my neck and this bone-breaking, burning sensation in my left leg. I remember very little after that, and to this day, I still don't know what exactly happened. But what I do know is that the girl was there, although now her face seems to be entirely normal in my memories. I also seem to remember that there was blood. There was the butchering of something. I knew she took care of me, but after all that, the only thing that I could recall was that one day I woke up in a hospital with no memory of my name or how I got there. I couldn't even remember just how my leg got messed up. For the longest time, I couldn't even keep the days of the week straight. It was as if I was disconnected from the rest of the world. To this day, I still can't seem to keep the proper track of the time. Eventually, I regained my memories from before the incident in the cabin. But still not much during that period of time, though. And sometimes, I could almost seem to recall faces and hear voices. Usually, they're hers. The face of a young woman with piercing blue eyes that were sometimes normal, sometimes half demonic. Her voice was calm, a charming mezzo-soprano. I I think she used to sing to me because sometimes I seem to remember bits of beautiful melodies that I can't fully recall. Ah, this loss of recollection is sometimes so frustrating that it makes me want to scratch on my own brain. And scary sometimes. She also had this charming Northern European sort of accent to her speech, replacing her Z's with S's and G and J's with the occasional Y sound. Also, sometimes a mental photograph of a man's face pops into my mind, usually contorted in pain. Rarely, when I'm alone, I could still hear the voices of men moaning in agony, or the girl's semi-incoherent words about her father. It was in these moments that I could almost feel cold hands wrapping themselves around me, and I shudder in discomfort. Sometimes these memories make me cry. They eat away at me. What if I had hurt someone? What if I'd done something awful? I'm not this kind of person, and I refuse to be that kind of human being. But God, it's so hard. It's so hard to be this powerless. I feel almost like some sort of zombie under the pernicious control of a despotic witch. I hate it, but I can't do anything about it. Simply put, whenever people ask me about my strange gait and limp, I lie because I'm not sure how I got it. Maybe the demon-faced girl did do something to me, besides clawing her way into my mind. Well, I hope you enjoyed that story. And if you did, please like and subscribe. So, until next time, be good, be great, be spooky.